So then, the rest of it is just, you keep riding, you keep riding this up. And so I believe right around between 2 and 2:30, I had unloaded the last of my shares. And the reason was I was getting the feeling, you know, and I wasn't right, obviously, judging by the way it closed, but I was getting the feeling, we were going to kind of, dip below this kind of support that we had at 246. And, it didn't seem like it was going to pop anymore for the rest of the day. And so I just wanted to book my profits, to go from, you know, to buy something at the end of the day on Friday at 220, especially when you're only risking 3 pennies and, you've already nailed 30 cents on it. That's a pretty good risk to reward, right? You're talking about, we just made 30 cents by risking 3 pennies. You can make a living off that. And so I just wanted to book my profits. And so when I got a feeling that this might not hold here, I ended up getting out right around 246, 247, and I believe the time was like at 215 or 220, something along that. So right before the end of the day, and I booked my profits. But that's one of the keys to trading is find high reward situations with low risk, and then the other part is picking stocks is one thing, but picking stocks doesn't make you a good trader. Really the management of the trade is the key, and knowing when to sell and how to scale out and how to ride things up so that your gains are protected is really what makes a great trader. And I know a lot of traders, they would have been happy with just a couple percent or 3-4%. They booked their couple $100, and they'd call it a day. But if you really want to make outsized gains, and we hit maybe 4 or 5 trades in the last 2 days that were between 7 and 20%. I mean, so if you really want to build an account, you got to get some of those bigger gains. And yeah, I sell partial positions, when I get that 4 or 5% initial hit. But I like to ride out that last half so I can hit that big boom. Because when you hit those big booms and you hit those 10, 15, 20% trades and you've sized your position right so that you've got a nice sized position with little risk, that's when your account starts growing exponentially. And you can go from 10,000 to 25,000, 25,000, 50,000, 50,000, 100,000. That's kind of how these things snowball. And one of the reasons is holding those last partial positions and riding out every inch of that gain you can get. And so that's what we've been doing lately. And of course the market's been real good to us, so it's a lot easier to hold on to stocks right now. But I've always traded like this, and even when the market tanks, I'll still find plays like this. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of insight into my Momo laggard play. This is my go-to setup. You'll see if the banks run this week. I've got HAFC, BBX. I've got a whole list of banks. I just play them in order. I first hit the breakouts, then I play the laggards, and I do it this exact same way. Sayonara, my friends. I'm signing out. Adios.